This mesh is around 20,000 triangles. This is part 3 of the Devil series. Here in red is the finished mesh, just with a red basic shader on it. In this video, I have added a lot more geometry in the mouth, nose, and eyes. A rough sculpt of this crude mesh in the making. I am just highlight glimpses of the progress that I took to create him. For a more detailed look into how to model a high poly mesh, watch my hound dog modeling series. Link will be in video at the end. Since the last video, I have added in lots of details. Let me show you. I have drawn a circle for where I would like to extrude his horns from. I selected the edges and collapsed them. Simply select the face to extrude. I duplicated his mesh and deleted the head and face geometry, so just the horn is a separate mesh. The horn mesh I have simplified and reduced the geometry. Now it makes it easy to select the single face, to extrude and manipulate. Filling out the profile, to be more robust. Adding in some angular features as a marker for key areas. Time for some muscles, my sweet Lord of Darkness. Making some adjustments to the angle of his horns. I think they need to be slightly wider apart and larger in the base area. I am satisfied with the base high poly blocking out of his form. Now I will be roughing out his sculpt and testing out the geometry that I have laid down. This way I can test out how the geometry will conform and if there is not enough geometry, as well as areas that have too much geometry. After getting a rough sculpt in, I will go in and clean up his mesh, such as reducing or adding polys and cleaning up the line flow so it looks cleaner. I toggle between wireframe display so I can see what vertices are holding the profile form and line flow. But I find it limits my ability to be creative and fluidity in my sculpting, so I turn it off and worry about cleanup later. By toggling it on and off, it's a nice blend of being artistic versus technical. I am creating a ball for frame of reference for his eyes. Remember, the tidiness and efficiency of this base mesh will only help with the final quality in terms of multi-resolution and normal map baking, as well as for face shape animation purposes. Make sure to add an extra geometry around tight bends and curves such as eyelids and tear ducts and lip lines. For his horn to make a ridge, I will add extra lines to help it with the multi-resolution sculpt later in the next video. This is the finalized base mesh. His mesh I have cleaned up and reworked the line flow. I will do a finalized mesh cleanup at the very end after multi-resolution sculpting and normal map baking if I needed or wanted his base mesh to be at a specific poly limit requirements. When I am finalizing a model, I look at it from all angles when critiquing it. I think about the animations that would fold the geometry and if it looks balanced. Also, are there enough exaggerated angles that hold the light well and give it more personality? In the next video, I will be UV unwrapping and multi-resolution sculpting all his fine details.